Well, I wanted to start the show off today. Speaking of television.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do a segment called This Day in History.
This day in history.
It's gonna be a good day. Not necessarily, because sometimes people die. Sometimes people don't.
It's true.
Also, this day in history, 1994, September 22nd, was the first episode of Friends. Woo!
Atlanta's Zone, you're playing the hits.
Welcome
hits from
back.
the 60s.
Welcome back to A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P.
Ooh, you down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. I'm down with some Beatles, though. Hey, friend.
Cheers. You son of a...
Hey, everybody out there in YouTube land and Spotify land. Wherever you're listening, wherever you're watching.
Beep, 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 beep. Not yet.
Rubber Soul.
Beep, 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 beep. Yeah! Awesome.
You gotta love some Beatles, man.
Yes. Not real Beatles,
No, they're a menace.
but these Beatles.
These Beatles, yeah, they're.
Which, by the way, we're talking earlier.
There's two left, right?
Spiders this year, for some reason,
Yeah, let's talk about something that's.
are outrageous.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to say, go on Amazon and get spider and scorpion spray.
I used it today.
Kill them dead. Or take your butane lighter.
It's great.
I was hanging out with Coach last night, and
Yeah.
he was about to kill the spider. I said, no, let me burn it. And so the boy came out in me, and I just burned this spider to a crisp.
Wow.
Anyway, let's talk about non-bug beetles.
Right. The
You have
real
a Beatles
Beatles.
story, right?
The Beatle Mania. Back in the 60s.
How long do you think Beatle Mania will last?
As long as you all keep coming.
I love them. I don't care what anybody thinks. I love the Beatles for them, and I'll always love them. Even when I'm 105 and an old grandmother, I'll love them. I love you, Paul, and please come to the window so I can just see you.
Why do you like them so much?
I don't know, there's just something about them. I don't know, when they sing.
Aren't they as good as anybody else?
No, they're better.
What's a woman's opinion of the Beatles? A young woman's opinion, that is.
I think they're sharp. Gorgeous. He's got a beautiful nose.
He's got a beautiful nose.
Ringo has a sexy nose.
Have you ever been this crazy about any other entertainer?
No, and that's what's so amazing. We don't know why we're like this.
My mom was a big Beatles fan, and she bought a record of theirs,
Okay.
brought it home, and her dad wasn't having it. Speaking of burning, that mug threw it in the fire.
No way.
Oh, yeah. Burn it straight up. And he just thought that was just like,
Which is so fun, because it's like, I mean, I don't know. I guess later Beatles is a little bit more like
yeah.
out there. And
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm
But
thinking,
like the old school, they thought the Beatles were like Marilyn Manson type stuff.
crazy, dude.
You know?
That's crazy to think about.
So he just straight up, he was like,
Wow.
nope, you're not going to have this anymore. And she was like, yeah, I guess so.
That reminds me,
I don't know if he did in front of her, though.
we in youth group for Winona Park United Methodist, we had a night where the whole concept was burn. It was a burn barrel.
Yeah.
So like an actual metal barrel, fire in it. Burn all of your secular CDs.
Oh, yeah.
And even then, JT was too smart for this crap. For those listening, I am still a devout Christian. I'm a believer.
Sure.
Nathan is a believer.
Absolutely.
I'm just not full of
Yeah.
and that sums it up.
Yeah.
I believe in God. I believe in Christianity.
Yeah.
But I will not burn my secular CDs because you show me a Christian artist, maybe even just one of them, as good as the secular artist, and I'm gonna give you a high five.
Yeah.
Because I know they're there.
Yeah.
But it is, come on, man. Like let music be music.
Yeah.
I don't tie spirituality to it.
Yeah.
And I was not burning
Right.
my Zeppelin CD, my Matchbox 20 CD, and my Offspring CD.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
I mean, the W said it in one song. They said, "Why does the devil have all the good music?"
Who said this?
And they were right. It was a group called the W's.
Oh.
It was one of those like swinging rock bands.
Yeah.
Had like horn section and all that stuff.
I was thinking my Beatles story also
Yeah.
about my mom
Okay.
is she used to change the lyrics to the birthday song. Like I think it's the today's your birthday.
Right.
Whatever. My mom would always change the words to the day of the week. Most famously Friday. So I would be asleep and she's trying to get me out of bed. And she would come to the door and she'd go, "Today is Friday. Ba-da, ba-da, ba-da. It's going to be a good day." And I'm like, oh my. I am going to kill myself.
That's hilarious.
I do remember that. And then sometimes on the way to school, I would hear the actual song. Because they had a 100.7 out of Jacksonville. It's a classic rock station.
Yep.
And they would do the birthdays, but they would play that song. I'm so skewed and anyway.
Flashback.
With that, we want to welcome you to the Twerk Ethic Show. It's a comedy podcast and YouTube channel. Most of the time.
Yeah, most of them.
If you're not laughing, at that particular time, it's not a comedy show.
Right.
If you're laughing, that's exactly what we're trying to do.
Yep. Thanks for laughing.
And you can find us pretty much everywhere. Right?
Pretty much.
YouTube, TikTok, Instagram,
Yep.
CNN, Fox, MTV,
NBC, CBS.
International Space Station,
Yeah.
Etch a Sketch. Go subscribe to us
Amazon.
on Etch a Sketch. Amazon. Well, that you actually can find us on Amazon.
I know. I never lie. Except them.
Seems like a lie.
Except
to me.
then. And then.
Well, I wanted to start the show off today. Speaking of television,
Yeah.
sometimes we do a segment called This Day in History.
This day in history.
It's gonna be a good day. Not necessarily, because sometimes people die. Sometimes people don't.
It's true.
Sometimes people are evil, and sometimes people are not. That's what it should be. Welcome to This Day in History. Sometimes people are evil, and sometimes people are not.
Yeah. I like it.
This Day in History.
Yep.
1999.
Okay.
West Wing, the television show that I often fall asleep to.
You do?
It debuted. 1999.
Dang.
Today.
Wow.
Which is September 22nd. That's what today is.
Right.
When we're filming it. When you're listening to this, we've already told you, it's not the day.
No, it's not. Never is.
Never is. If you're listening, we may or may not have hit our goal of 100 subscribers on YouTube.
Not yet. Or maybe yet.
Maybe.
We did it. We freaking did it. We are currently at 101 subscribers, baby. 3 months early. Time for a fine Nicaraguan hand-rolled cigar, a padron to be specific.
Maybe we got
we're
1,000. Who knows?
Hey, we're gonna release a promo on Instagram, and hopefully it'll take us over the top.
Yeah.
So by the time you're listening to it, maybe we'll be over the goal.
Maybe.
But
who knows?
Thank all of you so much for making this happen. Cheers.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
West Wing is. I don't think you've watched it, right?
No, I haven't.
Okay, but you've seen it.
Yeah, I know what it is.
I think it's one of the most. I mean, it's kind of revolutionary in terms of television. Like you watch it now and you're like, oh my God, this came out in 1999. I mean, it was just so well done. It's phenomenal.
Yeah. Pretty good things.
But a show I know you've watched more than me, and most people listening have watched. Also, this day in history, 1994, September 22nd, was the first episode of Friends.
Exactly.
Which I watched the reunion because of you, and it was fantastic.
It's great.
That's like one of the best
Very
ones
well done
that I've seen.
I never watched Friends when it was on TV. So between 1994 and 2004, never saw an episode.
Same. Totally.
Yeah. So then when after it came out.
I'm lying to you. I'm lying to you.
Yeah.
Because I didn't watch the show. But if you went over to any girl's house when I was in high school, so you're thinking I was in high school 2000 to 2004?
Yep.
Dude, Friends was everything to
I
girls.
bet.
But the guys, when you're in high school, it's like, we don't get this.
No.
I don't understand this.
Yeah.
But girls, they're more mature. They like this.
Yeah.
This, even the younger girls could get into the show, and boy, were they ever.
Right.
So I lied to you. If I would go
It was
hang at
definitely more of
someone's
a girl
house,
show, for sure.
if I'd hang at someone's house, the girls would have it on.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Yeah. But yeah, I knew girls that had it like on DVD later on or whatever. And I was just like, I just never got into the show.
Yeah.
And then I started from the beginning and I was like, this is a good show.
Yeah. It's pretty great. I mean, I don't think it's fair to compare it and Seinfeld though, because I think they're two different kind of things.
Oh yeah.
Where Seinfeld is about nothing, Friends is not about nothing,
Yep.
And it's a different kind of humor.
Yeah.
This will be fun. You've watched a lot of Friends.
Yeah.
What is I don't know, what is something that is your favorite scene or favorite part or favorite joke or no one's gonna hold you to this. This is whatever comes to your mind.
I don't know. Well, first of all, Chandler got me hooked because I thought he was the funniest dude ever. And I mean, he was considered the jokester on the show. So I adapted with him more than anybody else at first. But then the more I watched it, I was like, oh, Joey's funny too.
Yeah.
And then the more I watched it, and I got even though Ross is like not the most liked, he's still pretty funny.
Oh yeah. In his own way.
Yeah. And but there's a couple episodes where he was like, oh, it was in the 9th season, or maybe it was 10th. I can't remember. It was late in the series, and Joey started dating Rachel.
Yeah.
And he didn't know about it, and then he found out about it, and he was just like, he basically walked in on him kissing, and he was dating a girl at the time named Charlie, and so he was like, invites him over for fajitas and margaritas, and so he just keeps drinking the whole night, and they're like, Ross, are you okay? He's like, totally. He's like, are you sure you're all right? He's like, it must be the pressures of entertaining. Dude, and like when he was acting drunk, dude, it was so funny. That's one of his finer moments in that show, man.
I think my favorite from that show is the snippet from history in terms of technology, where Chandler gets the new computer and he lists off the specs.
Yep.
And it is if you listen to it today, it's like 256 kilobytes of RAM.
It's the slowest thing ever.
All right, check out this bad boy. 12 megabytes of RAM, 500 megabyte hard drive, and a modem that transmits at over 28,000 BPS. We'll put their names in bold with different fonts, and I can use different colors for each column.
And the thickest laptop. It was like that thick.
But no,
the old Pentium processor.
I like that is there in history for us to to laugh at.
Well, I remember watching that part, and because I remember you being like a computer whiz, and I was just like, "Oh, I gotta send this to Jeremy." And so I would like record it, and then send it to you by text.
I think that's the first time I ever saw that.
Yeah, because I knew you get a kick out of it. You're just like, "Whoa, that is slow AF."
Dude, another thing that I was thinking, last episode, I re-brought up 9/11 because I had more to say.
Right.
This episode, I want to bring up more Norm Macdonald because, again, I spent the last week watching a bunch of Norm Macdonald clips. And I had 3 I was going to share with you. I think one's a little bit too much for the show.
Right.
Or I could just do one long bleep noise. But there's 2 in here that I think are great. I'll do the short one first because I think it's funnier.
Yeah.
So he's talking about his wife, and he said, he was on Conan when he was telling this. He goes, Conan, I was incomplete until I met my wife. Now I'm finished. It's such a Rodney Dangerfield way to
for sure,
hit that joke. I just thought that was amazing. And then the other joke that he said that I thought was fantastic, this one, because he was always just I was going to say killing OJ, but he was always giving OJ a hard time.
Oh man,
and which he should.
He was relentless.
Yeah, but he was at. Do you know if it was at the ESPYs that this event was at?
Yeah, I think so.
And who was the player?
Charles Woodson.
Charles Woodson. So they're at the ESPYs, and Norm is talking about how great Charles Woodson is.
Yeah.
And he was like, was it Defensive Player of the Year or
I think
something like that?
It was the Heisman Trophy for Defensive Player.
Mm-hmm. He was like, I got to say, he's like Defensive Player of the Year. It's quite an incredible achievement. And no one, literally no one can take this away from you unless you kill your wife and your waiter. And the whole crowd just froze.
Because it was so fresh.
It was so fresh.
Oh my gosh.
Unless you kill your wife and a waiter, in which case all bets are off.
And I almost spit out. My drink. It's like these jokes. He's so good.
Yeah,
dude. He was on Conan too. I'm just remembering this. He was on Conan, and he told this 5-minute joke, and it was about the Dolphins. Have you heard this one?
I don't know about the Dolphins. I'm not sure.
He went, dude. The setup had no purpose.
Yeah,
like none. He just literally spent like 4 minutes about going to SeaWorld.
Yep.
And meeting this like French guy, and the French guy's name would change every single time. And Conan says, "I'm pretty sure his name just changed." He's like, "Well, we do like to develop,
right?
we like to grow."
Yeah.
But the whole point was just so he could do a horrible dad joke.
Yeah.
And so at the very end, he was like, he said, instead of saying purpose, he said porpoise.
Porpoise.
Yeah. I can't remember the actual joke, but it's like you're on the edge of your seat for
That's all
like
you need to know.
5 freaking minutes.
Yeah.
and the punchline just doesn't do it.
Yeah.
And you're just like, and he loves it. He knows what he's doing.
And like when he's telling the story, you think he's done, but then he goes, and anyways, he keeps going.
Well, another detail we didn't talk about is, of course, you did talk about the Comedy Central roast.
Yeah.
But we didn't talk about the looks, because you described the whole thing, but I went back and watched it, and I had forgotten that he would say the joke and then he would just stare.
Yeah.
He would just stare him down, and that made it so much funnier.
Oh, yeah.
It was so much funnier. He's like, some say Bob Saget has the face of a flower. A cauliflower. Your face, it looks like a cauliflower. And he would just stare for like 10 seconds straight. Yep. And it's like, oh, this guy's brilliant.
Says so here on this card.
Yeah. Anyway, I think it's time we take an ad break.
Okay.
And guess who it is?
There can only be one.
Come on. Cannon Plumbing.
I
think Cannon Plumbing is the best.
Yeah.
The reason I think that is because it's a fact. It's not an opinion.
Well, there you go.
It's a fact. It's the truth. He's the best.
Yep.
And he texted me this morning, Clint did, a prank that we should do where we walk by a stranger and you ask Siri to play like a very embarrassing song as you're walking by the stranger. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was pretty funny. Or I told him you could ask Siri or Google to set an embarrassing reminder or something.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Those are always good.
Like, hey, remind me at 3:30 this afternoon to take my hemorrhoid medicine or my whatever.
Yeah.
All that to say,
rub some butter on that corn on your foot.
That's right. All that to say, I bring that up because Cannon is not just professionally great. He's a good guy with a great personality. So if you're unsure who to call for your plumbing needs, call this guy. He's a good dude.
Top of the line pooper scooper.
Come on.
I mean, when you want it done, he's going to get it done.
He's going to get it done.
Yeah.
And if you want to learn more, too bad. I'm just kidding. If you want to learn more, cannonplumbingllc.com.
Yeah. Yellow pages.
Yeah, exactly. So, dude, I wanted to tell you something. I haven't got a chance to tell you about it. It's pretty cool. And if anyone from my neighborhood is listening right now, because it's a chance they might after last night, hello, welcome. It was nice to meet all of you yesterday. So Coach, being the fantastic leader he is, which he literally just came over here to talk to us.
He did.
Coach is amazing. Coach
good guy.
Is my neighbor, and he coached football, basketball pretty much his whole career.
Yeah.
And this dude knows it.
40 years, right?
Yeah. And he's friends with Ernie Johnson and enough said.
Yeah.
Amazing guy.
Yeah.
And an incredible leader. Well,
for sure.
He sends out an email to everyone in the cul-de-sac. It's like 10 or 12 of us, right? And he's like, hey, I want you to come over to my house once a month. Us men, no agenda.
Yeah.
And last night we did this. And it was awkward at first, because how does something like that not start awkward? If it wasn't awkward, we'd be doing this all the time.
Yeah.
But it's, people that some know each other, some don't. Yeah. And honestly, the first night we went around and it was just intros. And it lasted over an hour, Oh,
nice.
You tell about yourself, what you do, and that leads to more conversation.
Right.
But it was awesome, dude, because I met all of the guys, all the men in the neighborhood. There were a couple that, one was at a trade show and one had a COVID scare, but almost everyone in the neighborhood was there. And I'm like, man, how cool is that? that not only that Coach would do that, but that I live in a neighborhood where those guys would show up.
Yeah.
They actually came to this event.
Right.
And so it was pretty cool because when we introduced each other, it was cool for me, and you'll understand why. Most of the time, especially maybe in the past, I would have introduced my job first.
Right.
But I didn't.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I'm a musician. They're like, oh, really? You know what? And I told them about what I play, told them about you and your profession. And then I told them about the podcasts, and Coach was like, yeah, he's got this full studio. And then the question comes up almost every single time.
Yeah.
So it starts like this. What's the podcast about? And I say, it's a comedy podcast. And they go, cool. What's the name? And then there's that moment.
Yeah.
And I said, well, the name is Twerk Ethic. And, it's a bunch of guys, 20 years my senior.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, how's this going to go? And it landed very well.
Nice.
And a couple of them, one guy, Joey, if he's listening, he said he just got into podcasts. So he's going to check it out. So if you are checking it out, we really appreciate it. I just wanted to tell you this because, I think men, especially now in this day and age, men need to unite together and be a community. And you need neighbors.
Oh,
you need good neighbors, man. And I could have lived here 10 years and maybe not met a couple of the guys that were there last night.
Yeah.
But because of Coach, he's such a good leader. He had this idea. He's like, I'm just going to let everybody's path cross and I'll get out of the way.
Wow.
And so we went over there. We did that for like an hour. Everybody left. Coach and I went on his back deck, smoked a cigar. It was an awesome night.
Nice.
But I just had to tell you because the main reason I wanted to honestly, the main reason I wanted to tell you is do you also experience this kind of sometimes hesitancy with the name depending on the audience? Of course, if you're talking to someone that has
depends on the audience for sure.
If you're talking to someone who has a good sense of humor, you're pumped about it.
Oh yeah,
you're like, oh,
I can't wait till this lands.
Yeah,
for sure.
But can you think of an example of when it was kind of weird to say the name?
Yeah, most of the time it's when I meet new people, it's mostly Ubering.
Oh yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, so it's this older couple. I just picked them up from dinner, and we had kind of a long car ride. They were super sweet, and actually that's the one that they got into a little bit of argument. And Married Life was playing on my playlist. So, but they were asking if this is all I did. I was like, no, I'm a musician, and then I went into the podcast world, and I was like, I wonder how they're going to react to this. And I was like, I think they seem pretty cool, so they probably laugh. And I was like, Twerk Ethic. And they go, what's that? Twerk Ethic. And they go, oh, Twerk Ethic. Oh. Then they started laughing. I was just like, okay, cool.
Yeah. That's exactly the point I was trying to make. It's with certain audience. And last night, it's all these guys are quite literally my dad's age.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, do I even fit in? And I know I'm an old soul. And Coach even prefaced it with that. He's like, I know what you're thinking, but Jeremy is an old soul, which is true.
True.
All my friends, including you, are much older than me, and I like it that way.
Yeah.
So it was cool. And then we also I wanted to make sure I told you this too. They want to close down we live in a double cul-de-sac for those listening. They want to close down the double cul-de-sac and do a block party and have Jonathan Rainwater sing.
Yeah.
You know Jonathan, right?
Oh, yeah.
I actually don't know him.
Really?
But I've heard amazing things about him.
Yeah.
They want to have him do the singing and have me sort of license out the musicians. And I said, I got quite a few, my friend, including Mr. Cooley himself. So I said, preferably not Saturday and preferably not Sunday. So it'd probably be a Friday night thing.
I got you. Cool.
I don't know when, but I'm like, that'd be kind of cool to do that here.
Absolutely.
We have it on tape. I have asked you to do this.
Yeah, Rainwater's, he's a good dude. Really, really good singer.
That's what I heard.
I met him through Nice, actually.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he kind of shocked me of how good he was at singing. I was like, oh, you're that good. Okay.
Oh, nice.
All right.
Okay.
So,
Heck yeah.
But yeah, so,
but
who from your group had heard of him?
Well, it's Coach. So Coach goes to Charleston
right.
Hamilton Mill.
That's right. He's there now.
Yeah.
Because he used to be a Flyer branch.
Yeah. So Coach has already invited him.
Okay.
I'm thinking about having me and you and Jared Poff and
on the bass,
possibly Prisbiz playing the keyboard. People that I know would do it because, like, I'll give them scotch and cigars or something like that.
Right.
Free food, because we would be having fun. It wouldn't.
Sure.
It wouldn't be as much work as it would be. We don't get out there and lay it down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not playing Black Eyed Peas. Like we'll play stuff we want to play.
Black Eyed Peas. That's true. Yeah. True.
But
if you want Black Eyed Peas, we know it.
Sure. Yeah.
We just don't want to do it.
I also have some in the cabinet, in the pantry.
Yeah.
So if you want to eat Black Eyed Peas.
Right.
Totally.
Yep.
I had to share that story with you, though, because like it literally just happened last night, the men's group. And it
nice.
was just wonderful, man.
Yeah,
like,
that's cool.
How often do you hear of this happening? Like all the men in the neighborhood coming together. That seems like a very old school thing to do. And I'll tell you why. Because it was awesome.
Yeah.
It's nice to know your neighbors. So
you know what's the most old school about that is people saying yes to that.
Correct.
You get a lot of neighbors be like, yeah, that sounds good. I'll show up. Never show up.
Yeah. Dude, honestly,
so that's cool.
Every single person showed up except two who had like legitimate
that's crazy
excuses.
Yeah.
Like one was out of town for work and the other one had a COVID scare.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they'll be here next meeting.
Right.
So it's like,
that's awesome.
You're right. The fact that they showed up says a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. It's once a month,
Cool, man.
It's pretty awesome. So with that, I think we should end it.
That's very cool.
Unless you had something else, but I think we're pretty much out of time.
No.
We're going to go enjoy this amazing weather.
Come on.
This weekend's going to be gorgeous, dude.
And we're going to try to get 7 people to follow us.
Yes. Absolutely.
7.
Even if we already have 100 by this time.
Right.
We need 107.
Huh? I need 7 more on top of that other 7.
Well, everyone, have a lovely week. We love doing this, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Peace out, everybody. Later.